Hey guys, this is Daska and welcome back to Daska's Discussion. So today we're going to be taking a trip back into the 90s, a nostalgic place for everyone born obviously in the 80s or in the 90s if you remember that. For me, some great films back then that came out. It was a time of, I guess you could say, Pizza Hut, Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls, Michael Jackson in a clip with Michael Jordan, Home Alone, 90s toys, everything like that, 90s music, all that, the slap bands, the pop culture, all the bits and pieces that came along with it. But a big part of it was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now obviously, you really should know who they are. Even these days they've brought out those 2 CG films. But back then, the 1990 film that came out was iconic and still is today, I think, an iconic film. Now, could you call it a kids' film? We'll discuss that. That's why we're here. Let's have a chat about it. No. Let's discuss it. So, the cast. You had Elias Koteas playing Casey Jones. You had Corey Feldman playing Donatello. There's some key big names in there. And I guess you could say the whole film itself is obviously about the Ninja Turtles trying to, well, obviously helping April O'Neil, trying to stop Shredder and his Foot Clan. If you've seen the cartoons, you know where the story goes. Very straightforward, linear kind of story for back then, and even now, obviously. It's a standard kids film. However, was it really a kids film? I don't know. It does have some dark undertones to it. There is some great humorous parts in it. Michelangelo, Donatello, the banter between Casey Jones and Raph and all that. But deep down, there is some quite darkish themes and some quite disturbing scenes as well. When poor Master Splinter gets beaten by the Shredder, and the Shredder, the way he walked around menacingly, kind of like a, I don't know, a 90s version of Darth Vader if he was alive and a Japanese warrior, I guess. But the film itself, I think, still holds today, these days, for like adults and kids to watch it as well. You know, when I watch it now, I think back and it kind of transports me back into that time. Now, obviously, I was a lot younger when I watched it, but I remember at the cinema watching it, and I remember the popularity of the Ninja Turtles was huge. I had all the toys, the video games were huge. This film does stand the test of time. The sequels after it were a bit of a mess, or a dog's breakfast, as we say in Australia. I guess you could say that the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film was an iconic film, and will always be remembered for that, okay? Now, in terms of when it came out, I guess I do remember vaguely something about parents having there was a big uproar about how violent it is and how, you know, kids are replicating what they're seeing in the film, and they're going out climbing trees and going under sewers and stuff like that, and like trying to be a Ninja Turtle. I mean, they're always trying to blame something, aren't they, parents? There's always something to blame. Thankfully, these days, parents don't blame video games or films about any violence or anything like that. They don't point fingers. These days, parents are really good about that. I mean, you know, I can't think of anything where there's been an uproar about any kind of video game that's been out. Can't think of a thing. Anyway, back to it. I give Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 a solid 7 out of 10 as an adult watching it now. It's great, it does have some flaws and all that, but when I was a kid I probably would have given it a 10 out of 10. Some memorable scenes for me, I think I'd definitely say Raphael versus the Foot Clan on top of the rooftop of April's antique store is definitely up there. The telepathic scene between Splinter and his sons in the forest was always a great scene, emotional scene you could say. The banter between Michelangelo, the jokes that he had, the nunchuck off scene was a great, one of my favourite scenes as well. And I think the final confrontation with Splinter and Shredder is always a good one, but I think my favourite part out of all is definitely when Master Splinter tells Danny about the history of his master, Urukusaki, and Hamoto Yoshi, and all what happened there, and we find out some background. But that's it for me today, guys. I thought I'd try to get these discussions, to be a bit shorter than my previous one. And if you like what you see, subscribe, share, link, whatever, like, enjoy, and hopefully see you next time on Daska Discusses. Cowabunga! Forgot to mention, if you want to stick around and look at some impressions, that I've done from the film, by all means stick around and have a look. If you don't like them, you like them, that's great, fantastic. I'll see you guys next time on Daska Discusses.
You are here because the outside world rejects you. This is your family. I am your father. I want you all to become full members of the Foot. There is a new enemy, freaks of nature who interfere with our business. You are my eyes and ears. Find them. Together we will punish these creatures, these turtles.
For 15 years now, we have lived here. Before that time, I was a pet of my master Yoshi, mimicking his movements from my cage and learning the mysterious art of ninja. When we were forced to come to New York, I found myself for the first time without a home, wandering the sewers, scavenging for whatever I could find.
Once again, thanks for watching guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Daska Discusses.